Now it's time to be dangerous. Now it's time to get risky. Now it's time to truly find out what you're made of and what you could achieve. Now it's time to truly find out how many lives you can impact. Now it's time to find out what you were destined to become.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Raw Minds. I'm your host Eric, and before we dive in, please do me a favor. Make sure you subscribe, follow, and like and share this podcast. Every time you do so, it helps reach people to see these raw conversations and to keep the movement growing. Today, I'm honored to bring a powerful guest, Bishop Kevin Foreman, also known as the People's Bishop. He leads the Harvest Church with campuses in Denver, Atlanta, and online. He's an author, a speaker, and the founder of the Harvest Bible College. He's been honored with the city days named after him, inducted into the Gospel Music Hall of Fame, and he has led health and community programs that have changed thousands of lives. But what I respect about Bishop Foreman is the way he makes faith and life simple, while showing how emotional strength, physical health, and community support all connects. This is going to be a deep one, so get ready. And again, if you haven't yet, please subscribe, follow button, do all those fun things because, it helps us again. So now let's dive into it. And I just want to say thank you, Bishop, and welcome to the show.
What's happening, my man? Listen, thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be with you. What's up to all your audience? Glad to be with you. Excited about our conversation and, man, just excited about what you do. Like, I love the whole concept, as we were talking a little bit before, just your whole concept, the whole thing that you're doing, your whole journey has been amazing. And so big salute to you for turning all of your pain into purpose, just like all of us have to do, especially for men, because there's not a lot of outlets and voices and places and spaces for men. And so I salute you for that.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And it's about breaking the chain. At the end of the day, it comes from trauma, that generational trauma too. We were told, stand up, be a man, you're depressed, get over it, but it's about breaking that, like we have feelings, we're allowed to feel, and we're allowed to, express this shit, because men are dying like every day because of this holding this stuff in, right? So
Man, that's so true. And I think really recognizing that it doesn't take from your strength to admit areas that you need to address, or areas that even maybe you feel weak addressing that area, right? Like, that doesn't take from your strength. It doesn't take from your masculinity. It doesn't take from your man. In fact, that makes you the strongest. There's this Japanese art, and I'll butcher the name, so I won't say the name, but it's Japanese art. I'll just say it that way. They build these ceramic pots, and they, put them through the kiln, the whole nine, harden them, paint them, they get all of that, they look beautiful. Then they break them. And when they break them, when they put it back together, they use gold in all of the breaks and all of the crevices where it's broken. And so now when they put it back together, it's actually the broken places that are the strongest and the most valuable. And so I think looking at life through that lens, like the places I was broken, that's where my value is. That's where my strength is. That made me better. So it's like I was broken to be built better. And that's a good thing.
Man, that's I'm going to put that on a shirt.
Seriously.
Yeah. I just dropped my clothing line, man. So I'm going to put that on a shirt, and I'm definitely going to make sure that there's a short out there of you saying that, because that is amazing, man. I love that, dude.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, congrats on the clothing line. That's awesome.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Before we start though, can you just plug the shit out of all your stuff, man?
So on all the socials at Bishop Foreman, they call me the People's Bishop. I love people. We reach people, everybody. We call it like the United Nations of Church. Black, white, tall, short, every background, everybody included, nobody excluded. It's a very different approach to how we do what we do. And so we reach everybody. I love it. I can go from the boardroom to the street, to wherever. It doesn't matter. Everybody connects. And it really blows my mind to see we're a hybrid church in buildings and online. You mentioned Denver, Atlanta. We just moved our headquarters here, but there's literally over 15,000 that are connected, part of our database, part of our movement, and they're all over. And so, so it's amazing. But people can connect on all socials at Bishop Foreman, Foreman, Bishop Foreman, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. All of those are the same, and tons of books that we've got out that people can get. Again, it's all at bishopforeman.com, and people can access all of that. You mentioned generational trauma. One of my books that I write about a lot, and one of the things I teach about a lot, is like breaking generational curses. empowerments to fail, that these things are like generational, passed down, handed down and around. And one of them is called Sins of the Fathers. Like, how do you address that? And I write my books for men. So my books are not very long because men, I don't know about other guys, but me, like, man, come on, like, get to the point, like, that type of thing. So my books are not extremely long. They get right to the point, but one's called Sins of the Fathers. Another one's Evolutionaries, Unlocking the You in You, like talking about the evolution process we go through from like a butterfly. Starts as small as a sesame seed on a sesame seed bun, stage 1. By stage 4, it's flying. Like where I started does not match where I'm going to end up. And that's true for everybody watching. Like it's not where you start, it's where you end. That's out. Making money moves. That's another thing. I was born in Denver, but raised in Memphis, Tennessee. Went back to Denver and built Denver's largest African-American owned real estate finance brokerage, so mortgage company, by the time I was 21. And I was riding high. And then the whole industry collapsed. And I said, okay, God, if you get me through this, I will teach other people what I did to get out of this valley and to come back better. So that's what I did. So my other book called Making Money Moves, The Art of Getting Your Finances in Order. Like, what do you do to really succeed business and personal and do it debt free? And so that's another, there's tons of books that are out there, but everything is at bishopforeman.com, all the socials at Bishop Foreman. And if y'all are watching, hit me up in the DMs. I get about 400 or 500 messages a day, but I actually respond.
Oh, wow.
It may take me a little time, but I actually respond to them because I love to hear, how do people find out? How do people connect? That type of thing. That's why they call me the People's Bishop, man. I love people.
I love that, man. And for everybody listening, all the stuff will be in the bio, so you can click on that and it'll head right over to you and all your, So who are you? Let's say, like, let's start this. Like, who are you, if you can, like, just from the starting or wherever you think is appropriate.
Let's get
man.
it.
Let's get it.
Yeah. So like I said, I was born in Denver, raised in Memphis. And in Memphis, a lot of what accompanies a lot of American inner cities we dealt with. The community is called Orange Mound, and it used to be right after slavery here in America was outlawed. It was an area, like they call it a Black Wall Street. It was an area of great prosperity. It was an area, where you saw lots of Black businesses, all of that. And then through policy and all the things that happens over the years, there was a decline in the area. So from a kid, I was exposed to a lot. I was exposed to drugs. At 2, I knew the difference between green and white. Now, for those, as a kid, you know the difference because you're in this type of environment, or maybe a little older than 2, but still as a kid, you knew the difference. I saw gang activity. I saw my, folks selling drugs was, in drive-bys, where, in the neighborhood, on the porch, everybody got to get down. That type of environment. And I remember thinking, one, I was grateful that I had amazing family unit in terms of my mother and grandmother and great-grandmother. We used to call her Mimi. And she was there in Memphis. And so we had that. But I remember thinking, like, this is not going to be the end of my story. So the joke is that I came out of my mom's womb with a Bible and a briefcase. I was just different. Like, I had this spiritual affinity, but I wanted to make it reachable for people because a lot of times it was just so far off and Christians were so judgmental and all of that. So I wanted to make it reachable, tangible for people. And then I had this business.
Sorry to cut it, but did you feel it like right from day one? Like when you came out that you had,
I don't remember another way. Honestly, I don't remember ever thinking different. I knew I was different. I just knew I was different. Like other kids would like make friends with the, kind of like one another. And I was like, that's cool. But there was this leader in me that would like, I wanted to make friends with the teachers. So like I was friends with the teachers. Like I was grading my classmates' papers while they were out at recess. Like I was just different, man. I was just different.
Yeah.
And, I remember I recognized the leverage, and that's a lot of what I do now, is impacting leaders. Like every leader needs a leader. Every coach needs a coach. Every general needs a general. And so I would always be drawn to leaders and strong people. And so, man, they used to let me do a lot of stuff. Like I remember I was in 2nd grade, Dunbar Elementary School, Orange Mound, Memphis, Tennessee. There was this girl I had a crush on. Her name was Kalila. And so they were like, you got a crush on her? Like, who lets a 2nd grader leave their class to go into her class to be in there with her? Like, they just let me do all kind of crazy stuff. But I was a spokesman for like Smucker's Jelly when I was a kid. I would do these oratorical things. And although I knew I was different, I was very shy. So you put me in front of people, I'd come alive. You get me in a small little group or a small setting, I was very
Hmm.
shy. And I used to perspire real heavily so you could see my shy. Like, you could see it.
Yeah.
And so that was sort of that. So I knew that. My mom had married a guy who, my stepfather, who he was an abuser. He was like, for those who've ever seen the movie, What's Love Got to Do with It about Tina Turner, Ike
Hmm.
Turner, that was my stepfather. He was an abuser, womanizer, everything you want to not be as a man. That's what I saw. And so being exposed to that early on, I took on this parentification. Like I felt like I had to protect my mother as a kid. And she never asked me to do that. I just felt this obligation. I was the oldest son. I had a brother, sister after that. I just felt like I had to protect her. So fast forward, we move back to Denver. I get involved in ministry and in music. I'm a drummer, and I only got into drums because me and a buddy of mine were super competitive.
I'm a
So
drummer too.
come on, there it
Yeah,
is.
but
I knew there was something.
yeah.
I knew there was something. Okay,
I used to
so
have a
check this out.
Yamaha. Used to have a Yamaha set, really nice one, until my mom got rid of it because I was driving her crazy, and then she only let me keep the snare, which is still loud, so it was crazy.
So I did the same thing. I joined my mom. I had to play between from when I got home from school and before she got there. Because the moment I would come, get
Hmm.
up, go, she hated it. She hated it. But I learned to play. I learned watching this guy at church. He was a left-handed drummer. So I was right-handed. I am right-handed, but he was a left-handed drummer. So left-handed drummers tend to, play like this and the hats and stand.
Yeah.
So right-handed like this. I learned watching him. His name was Stan. I've been trying to find this man for years and I've been able to find him. And Stan had this little shoulder move when he was in the snare. Like he was so smooth when he had it. Used to wear these
Hmm.
blue blocker glasses. So Stan was smooth. I got into ministry through music, and church really became this outlet for me. Music became this outlet for me because at home again, I had an amazing mom. But it depended on what drug he was on. My stepfather had a lot of issues.
Hmm.
Actually, that book, Sins of the Fathers, the opening story is about him because his mom, back to generational curses, his mom, when she was pregnant with him, his father was a womanizer, an abuser, drug addict, all of that.
So it
And
goes on.
so
Yeah.
there's the cycle, there's the curse, just passed down and around. And that's how you know it's deeper than just seeing it. You know there's something spiritual behind it because he never met his father, yet he became exactly like that
Oh,
man.
yeah.
How do you become a man that you've never met? And
Yeah.
so when his mom was pregnant with him, he, the story is she came in, he was, they had another woman in the house or something like that. And he proceeded to try to beat her. And in defense of herself, she took him out. And so while he was pregnant, while she was pregnant with him, so, that's what I saw. And I saw a man that I can remember and think back to, times when I would see him choking my mom or slapping my mom, the things he would call her. So this was the environment I was in. And I was like, I
Hmm.
don't want to be this guy. This is not a man I want to be. And it pushed me to spiritual things. It pushed me to business things. It pushed me to really focus on the things I could control because I couldn't control that. I couldn't control what was happening. Fast forward from there, I do more stuff with music, start doing keys, keyboards, and choirs, and arranging music, producing stuff, all of that. They eventually put me in the Colorado Music Gospel Hall of Fame, which was really cool because I
Yeah.
didn't even know we had one until they put me in it. And I was like, this is cool. This is a great honor. And really, that's where those two things ran parallel, like Bible and Briefcase, ministry and marketplace. Those two things just ran parallels. Started my first business when I was 12. I created this whole little loan program for this bank down in Denver called Young Americans Bank. To this day, they still have a picture of me up. So every young entrepreneur that goes in that bank, they have to walk past my picture when I was 12 years old, holding up my business plan. And so, which is just really cool to me.
So
I
cool,
like that.
man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was awesome to see that, and just awesome to see the impact that
Yeah.
had. And I just knew I wanted to do something with my life that impacted and changed the lives of people. So you heard me talk about business. By 21, I built Denver's largest, real estate finance brokerage owned by a Black man, which is amazing. Boom, as I said, that whole thing goes through a collapse. And my mother would eventually leave my stepfather in my teen years and a few years later would marry my biological father. So this looked like a beautiful love story. Like, oh my God, they could have met together, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was different, but for me, he was just a different type of demon. To be quite honest, I looked at him, I was like, he was a very passive type guy, and I remember one day he was giving my little brother a tough time with something, and so being me, I stepped up, thinking I got to defend everybody, I got to protect everybody, I got to be daddy, and I was used to making money, so I was used to contributing to the household. I was used to, using my money to do things. And I was never asked. I just felt like this is what I was supposed to do. And that eventually was something I had to break in my mind because I saw everybody as a project and everybody as my child that I needed to protect.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a whole nother type of thing because, what happened is I turned pain into purpose, but really into projects.
Mm-hmm.
And what I should have been the project, but I made everybody else the project. So I would look for like the most jacked up situations and then try to step in and fix them.
Do you think that fixing them was maybe you trying to fix yourself in some kind of sense, but not really? Because
Oh God, yeah.
yeah.
It gave me a sense of, I think back one, something I could control.
Mm-hmm.
But then number two, it was easy to see what needed to be done for other people. Just like if you're sitting in a room, you can see everybody but you.
Mm-hmm.
And so it became that. And to be honest with you, even though that was years and years ago, only recently I live life as a student. And I think every man should take on that journey. Like, I'm a student. Only the experts feel disappointed because they think they know everything.
Mm-hmm.
I live life like a student. Like, you know what? I don't know. I'm going to learn. We're going to find out. We're going to see.
Hell yeah.
Only recently did I really begin to unpack that and just start like, okay, why did you do this? And why did you do this? And why did you do this? Because a lot of the times we look at the things that we've been through and forget that some of that stuff we're participating in.
Mm-hmm.
Some things aren't inflicted on us. Some things we participate in. And a lot of that, was me a willing participant in some of the things that I went through because I would find projects and work on it. I would date projects. That's just what it was. I
know it, man.
project friends. I would find project friends and do that. And so a lot of that became the substratum. Crazy thing. Flip side of it is that those skills would be necessary for what I do. And I think that's the whole thing. How do I chew the meat, spit the bone? And sometimes you got a little gristle in there that's like, I don't know what this is. And dealing with that gristle. Yeah. Yeah.
I can relate to that. And that's kind of like, I was that person that everybody called, for advice or whatever, like that, Mr. Fix It, I guess you could say, or something like that. Right. But I was never like working on myself. But then making this podcast now, I think this is, it's the flip side. Now I'm helping, I'm and I'm bringing people on like yourself and other guests like this that have been through things and helping other people out there. Your story may not relate to anything like mine, but your story might relate to someone else there, right?
Yeah.
So these are the beautiful things that, like we said, from pain to purpose, right? Or power, or however, whatever you say, these are the beautiful things that come out of all of this. And like we talked earlier, it's lessons, man. There's lessons in everything. And it's you only fail when you give up. At the end of the day, that's the real failing. It's all about fail forward, right? Fail forward and just keep on pushing forward.
Yeah. I like what you said. You never lose if you got a lesson. That's not a loss.
Yeah.
That's not a loss. I think Thomas Edison, there's this quote, he didn't fail 10,000 times. He just found 10,000 times that won't work, 10,000 ways that won't work. And I think that's the principle. Like, I embrace the concept of, look at making a cake. Full disclosure, man, I used to be able to cook really good. And I know cooking and baking are two different things. Some guys are great at it. I'm not one of those guys. I'm like, my kitchen stays clean. Like, I'm like, let's go out to eat.
Me too, brother.
Are you? Okay, so we said that. Yeah, we got that in common. Man, listen. All right, I like, listen, I don't, if it's going to get cooked, I'm not doing it. You can come do it, but I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
But I know enough to know if you're making a cake, you got to get eggs, you got to get flour, you got to get some oil, you got to get some vanilla, you got to get some sugar. Like, eggs on their own, some people are into that, for protein or whatever. I'm not particularly into that. Just drinking eggs. Oil on its own, gross. Flour on its own, gross. Vanilla on its own, kind of bitter. But when you put all that stuff together, oh man, you produce a beautiful product. You produce a cake. Yeah. And I think there's this scripture, Romans 8:28. It says, God causes all things to work together for our good. And that's the beauty of it. Like, it's beautiful. It's beautiful and it's brutal. at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, but he
Yeah.
makes that stuff work together. Just like you said, you went through some things, but it helped you on the flip side. And I think
Yeah.
same thing is true for me. Same thing is true for everybody watching. You go through some things, but on the other side of that, somebody else is going to be impacted by what you've gone through.
Yeah.
And it gives you the ability to look back over your life and again, do the work on you.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're working on other stuff, it's when you really get to see, wow, okay, like this, I need to listen. When I'm listening, telling other people, I need to do that myself. Like,
Yeah. It's
this
easier
is
to
good.
tell people, man, but it's
Yeah.
hard to take your own, right? Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you were talking about like, going through some hard stuff. Like I had crazy Peter. It was season 2, episode 20, 21, 22. It was a 3-part episode. He was very high up involved, if not one of the top guys, affiliated with some people, and he had 2 hitmen actually come in and try to take his life, and he was shot 26 times, 6 times to the head, even hit his brain matter. He died, had an afterlife experience, and then came back to life, and now he's helping people. He's alive and he's helping people get out of that life. He's also huge into stem cells. He's been around the world helping a lot of people. I think he said Ronaldo he did it on. He's done, yeah. So he's been doing, and it's very sad. You have to go through these like horrific, but that was his journey to put him where he is today now to help other people. And I had this conversation with Men Thrive Daily, and I've actually brought it up on the last 2 podcasts I did. And he made a really good point. He's like, he had a brain injury. Drunk driver was trying to kill himself, drove up the on-ramp as he was coming down, head-on collision, left him there to die. And he said, he suffers. He's got a huge brain injury. He suffered for a while. But now he's helping people. He's got his own podcast. He's doing this amazing stuff, helping people. And he's like,
Yeah.
is it really a tragedy? I can't even speak right now. But
I got you.
yeah, that he went through, because now he's helping people. So is it really a bad thing? Because at the end of the day, he is helping people. He's done things for people. So do you actually consider that something bad now that you've gone through? Because,
Yeah, good question. I would say like this. On the back end, no. But while you're in it, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think being able, what makes the humanity of it is being real about the fact that while we were in it, like, this didn't feel good. This didn't feel good. This didn't look good. This was uncomfortable. And I think the humanity of it is being able to recognize that, at the same time saying, it was good though. I'm glad I went through that. I'm glad I went through those things. I'm glad I experienced that, coming up as a kid. I'm glad I experienced when I did meet my biological father, one day when I was 16, it wasn't a fight because he was a big muscular guy. It wasn't a fight. People said we got in a fight. Nah, I didn't get in a fight. He punched me. I mean, knocked me down on the bike because I was trying to defend my brother. And I remember thinking like, I was so angry. And I was angry, at my mom because, in that moment she had sided with him. And I was angry at her. I'm like, oh my God, I've done all this. There were so many lessons. And one of the things that I'll just pivot to say that I appreciate about my mother, she's one of the most loving and prudent, wise women that I've met, because she will, as she begins to look back over life, like from stuff from 20, 30 years ago, she will apologize. Say, you know what? I just apologize. I didn't mean to do this. And I always tell you did a great job. Like, you did the best you could, considering the fact that every day, many times, was survival. What is this man going to do today? What is this going to be today? And she found the strength to get out of that. And then subsequently the second situation. But the reality of it for me is that when I look back over it, it showed me, I learned from both of them. From my stepfather, I learned charisma. This man could sell you your own iPhone and you feel like you got a good deal on it. Like, it's your phone. He's take it, sell it to you, and you'd be like, man, I got an amazing deal. Like, I only paid $40 for this phone. He was very charismatic. He was he was business minded. And I remember telling him, you're so smart, you're stupid. As an adult, I remember telling him, you're so smart, you're stupid. He would be locked up all the time. I said, you're so smart, you're dumb. I said, there's no reason you're not a multimillionaire, except for the fact that you keep falling back into these same vices that keep you from your own victory. Like, is it worth it? And I remember the last time I saw him, I was speaking in Memphis, and I remember telling him, I said, if you don't make some changes, this is going to be the last time I see you. And it was the last time that I saw him. He passed away that March or
My
something like that.
condolences.
Yeah, thank you. But I learned that from him. From my biological father, he had a great work ethic. And so I took that from him. So for me, I look at all those situations, and those are just two situations. I mean, when you talk about leadership and life and all of the things that go with that, the betrayal, all the things that happen with that, how do you bounce back after losing things? Like, how do you do all that? I look at it all as it was good for me, but I give myself the freedom of humanity to say, but yeah, it didn't feel good, but it worked for my good.
Yeah. And a lot of times is like, these really traumatic things happen. It may not be your fault, but it is your problem to deal with it,
Yep.
at the end of the time. And people need to realize that, and I'm going to say this, and I'll probably get kicked off of TikTok because they don't like it, but I break the rules. If you get sexually assaulted or raped from someone, you know what I mean? And it's going to be like, it's not your fault that happened.
No.
But it's your fault. It's your responsibility of how you deal with that. And it's tragic that, you know what I mean? But if you're going to sit there and, do nothing about it, and nothing's going to come to it, you're not going to progress and you're not going to be healthier. So that's why I say that all the time, and it's just that 1 degree. All you have to do is change that 1 degree, like Joey, my past co-host, would say this all the time. You change that, and you look at you change 1 degree every day. You look at the end of the year, your course is going to be in a different spot.
Totally
100%.
Yeah. I love that. I like saying it like this: life didn't happen to you; it happened for you. So what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
Like, here are the facts. Deal with it, whatever that might be. Everybody's got a different trauma and drama, but one thing is for sure, all of us are going to have some trauma and drama to deal with. So now you have to say, what am I going to do with it? How am I going to deal with it? How am I going to overcome that? How am I going to make this thing, work and benefit for me? And it's that mindset. To me, I have a lot of, I don't know if you can see them in the camera, but I have a lot of like lions and eagles and like gladiator stuff and warrior stuff and stuff like that. It's my reminder. Listen, man, this is a fight. So now you just need to decide what you're going to do. You need to decide whether or not you're going to be victorious. And again, being victorious doesn't mean that you don't deal with the emotions, that you don't deal with the feelings, that you don't deal with those things. Deal with that, and then let's get up and keep fighting. Like, deal with that. Let's get up and keep it moving. I think that's been my greatest thing, is like, you can't hit a moving target.
Yeah.
Keep it moving. Keep it moving.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like, you need to deal with, like, you can't just sit around or go over these things or go around it or whatever it may be. You need to go through it and deal with it. I did see this quote the other day. I want to say this. This guy said it, and I had to save it because it made me like, wow, like, I like this, and I'm gonna read it to you.
Yeah, let's hear it.
You could be the master of your fate, the captain of your soul, but you have to realize that life is coming from you and not at you.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Coming from you, not at you. That's good.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and it makes sense. It's because you make your life. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I mean, yeah, like, things happen along the way, but that's what makes it exciting, I guess you could say. You know what I mean? That makes it. You need to be able to be kicked back, and like, I've talked about this before. And like, and my podcast. So when I was selling at the time, I mean, I would want to be pulled over by the cops to humble me and be like, hey, I'm not invincible, and for the things, like, when in these moments, it's kind of a wake-up call too. These things happen in your life, and it's a wake-up. You are not invincible, and it's giving you lessons and figure out the tools, so you can grow as a human being and hopefully pass these on to your kids or your peers.
Yeah. I think what I love about that, though, too, is that it's back to what you said about the perspective. Like, how are you going to handle it and respond to it? And what I love about that quote, I'm going to take it just so you know.
I'll send it to you, brother. I'll send it to you, man. Yeah.
What I love about that quote is, it's all of it is what I take how I take what is presented and what I do with it.
Mm-hmm.
I was studying, so again, from business. So I like to study biographies. Like I think one of the greatest things men could do is study other men. And then you build like a Frankenstein of yourself. Like everything, it's all these different pieces of different
Definitely.
men that's like, sometimes like, who am I? What am I going to do? Who am I? Who am I? It's okay. I like that from him.
Yeah.
I like that from him. 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 So what can I take? And then I'm going to build and craft me. And that's what I tell people. Like the man I am is a man I built. I'm the first PhD in my family, first bishop in my family, first to achieve certain things financially, first to achieve certain things business, first to, the list goes on. And I don't say that in an arrogant or braggadocious way. I say that to simply say I had to decide who I'm going to be. And if you don't know who you are, you're leaving it up to somebody else to tell you who you are. And they're going to tell you who you are based on their boxes, their limitations, and their thing. And so it was Hilton. And the story goes like this. He went to buy like an oil field, something like that. He goes to buy it. And of course, Hilton, like Hilton Hotels, Conrad Hilton. Yeah. So he goes to buy this oil field, I believe it was. And as he goes down there, the guy changes the deal on it. So, they agree to a certain price. The guy gets there. Well, this is the price. Take it or leave it. So he's mad, right? He's like, well, I'm not doing that deal. I came all the way here to Texas to do this deal. You did me dirty, whatever. He goes to stay at a hotel. He notices that although the hotel isn't in great condition, he notices that because it's a hotel for the oil fields, that the beds, like you'd have multiple guests throughout the day because, there are different shifts and stuff for the oil fields and what have you. He then he buys the hotel. For the same amount he was going to buy the oil field for, he makes an offer to the owner and says, would you sell me your hotel? He says, oh, I'll sell it to you. Same amount. Hilton, the hotel brand, was built off of life coming out of him, not at him. Because he took what was supposed to be this awful situation. The deal didn't go through. I'm mad. I'm angry. And he was like, nope, there's an opportunity over here. So I like to say it like this, like all things work together for my good, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So even if it's not what I wanted, that's because there's something better over here.
That's all. And that's how he became like into the hotels. That's how, eh?
That's how Hilton Hotel brand started. Him getting screwed by a guy that was supposed to sell him an oil field. That's how it started.
That's crazy. See, and you never know your opportunities. And we talked about this on another podcast too recently. It's the red car effect.
No, tell me that. What's that?
So I tell you, say you're on your way to the office, right? And I tell you on your way to the office, tell me how many red cars you'll see, or pay attention to red cars. Sorry, pay attention. And so when you show up to the office, I say, now, how many blue cars did you see? Well, you're not paying attention to the blue cars. You're paying attention to the red, right?
Yeah.
And those are opportunities that are missing you because you're too much paying attention to one certain thing and not keeping your mind open, right? So it's a pretty cool analogy, man. Definitely.
Yeah, isn't that crazy though? When I learned that, I was like, you got to be joking. He built the whole hotel brand off of a deal that didn't go right. But again, back to that quote, it's coming out of you. And and I think that's just it. Recognizing, like, listen, you hit the jackpot. You're alive. You have blood in your body. And the way I like to say it is, if I still have a pulse, God still got a plan. It's a plan.
Yeah.
Point blank period, bottom line.
Definitely. I do want to say, so what's made you start the Harvest Church? Like, what was? Yeah, let's get into that.
Yeah. So I been in the ministry, got into it through music, and I was an associate pastor, so I'd done a lot of stuff in business and organizational management. How do you build organizations, marketing, all of that? I did a lot of things. Like I was, after I started my first business at 12, I would do some other things. So I had a marketing knack for marketing. I was the director of marketing at 16 for this company. That was a national company. They were in North Carolina. They had a new owner. Came in. I started as a telemarketer on the phones and then took over their marketing department. And I took that department from 0 to like 80 on that team, in high school. Like I would get out of school and go do that job. So, simultaneously doing the ministry things. You fast forward, I was an associate pastor at 19, and so which was young, but I also had the experience. I've been doing it for a while. I've been leading people for a while, so that was always customary for me to always be leading people that maybe were older than me, but my experience and the way I moved. When you're around Mufasa, everybody knows, type of thing. And so That
Yeah.
was just a natural thing for me. And so I was associate pastor. That pastor decided that he didn't want to continue his work. I've been a part of a staff for a pretty large church, and then went there as a turnaround type of situation, brought there to turn things around in certain areas. And we did. I mean, we had some great success. That pastor just was over it. He was burnt out. And he didn't really want to have a successor. He just wanted to kind of shut it down and let it be done. And so long story short, like I didn't want to be a pastor. I was like, yeah, maybe later on. Like it's just like, I don't want to do this. This is not what I want to. Like I liked being number two. I liked being the heavy. Like I liked being the one, getting this, getting people together. Like I like roughing folks up. Like I enjoyed that. Like I really did. And so I didn't want to do that. So you fast forward, and he, out on his way out, we agreed that I would depart a little early. And man, I remember going through some crazy experiences. It's like he preached his last couple of messages about me, and which, you know, in that world, that was pretty hurtful to have that happen, where a person uses the stage to basically, berate
Yeah.
you and all of that. And so I remember thinking, I'm just going to keep it 100 with you. I remember thinking, well, God, if this is how, if this is how your people are, they can go to hell. That's what I remember thinking. I said, if this is how these people are going to treat me, I said, come on. And so, but out of that, again, pain and the purpose. Out of that, we would then launch, not out of bitterness, not out of anger, out of really assignment. Because here's the truth. I never would have started if I wouldn't pushed out, because that's how my loyalty works. Again, from a kid, parentified. So I think loyalty. I think long
Mhm.
term. I think relationship. If I got your back, I got your back. Like that's a check you can take to the bank. If he's loyal,
Yeah.
that's how I thought. So it took that to push me out. And so we eventually started in Denver. Denver is 46 out of 50 for lowest church attendance in the nation. So like it's the last place. That's like starting a barbecue restaurant in the healthiest city in your, in the province or something. Like, yeah, who does this? It just doesn't make sense. And so, but we experienced some great success, great results. The church grew in an amazing way. And what I loved is it was everybody. It was not just, what you think of as a church person or whatever. Everybody's got different thoughts and beliefs and, for how they view that. To me, I was like, man, listen, it needs to be somebody that's suited and booted with a three-piece suit. And this was next to somebody who's tatted up, next to somebody with a hoodie, next to somebody that smells like this, smells like that, next to somebody that, whatever. To me,
I love it.
like it should be everybody. And so we intentionally created an environment like that where it didn't matter what your background was. Like our whole thing was love God, love people, love life. That's what you were going to get. You may not like me, but you can't say that those people that when I went there, those people weren't loving. Right.
Mhm.
You could not say that. And you can't, no one can say that. And so fast forward, this has been 19 years ago, man, since we started
Wow.
that. I know. Goodness.
Wow. Good for you guys, man. That's
But,
awesome.
man, it's been a journey. It has not been a punk. I could tell you that.
No.
It has been a rough journey. When I say that, because that word can mean different things, to different people. When I say that, like, it has not been easy. It has been a journey. But we moved our headquarters to Atlanta at the top of this year, and we'll formally launch the location here in a few months. Man, it's been amazing to see the lives transform. Over 12,000 people that have made professions of faith or like become Christians, giving their lives to the Lord. Over 15,000, as I mentioned, that are part of our database or part of the movement. Man, every day it grows, but it's really cool to see because obviously a black man, but you can't say it's a black church, white church. It's an everybody thing. It's
Hell yeah.
everybody. It's every background, every race, every socioeconomic background. Like it's the United Nations of church.
You
Like
make
you
it
belong.
comfortable too, is what you're saying, really. In a nutshell, it's just comfortable, somewhere where
Yeah.
you can actually feel loved and comfortable. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah, yeah.
Hell yeah,
And that's
man.
important because you can't, a lot of times, and I think this is true with anything, people will only grow where two things are true at the same time that are seemingly a paradox, where I am comfortable, but at the same time, I'm challenged. Those are the
Hmm.
only two ways you grow. And those things almost seem like a paradox, but they're not. I have to be comfortable enough so I can feel safe. But at the same time, I don't want to just be the same me that I've been. Like I want to be greater. So you got to be comfortable and challenged at the same time. And creating that type of environment, that's what we strive to
Yeah.
do. And by challenge, just mean people getting better. That's all.
Good for you guys. That's almost like I heard. I know I heard a funny saying the other day, and it was like you don't understand burning up, burning down. So it's kind of in the same sense. And I just think it's funny, so I want to mention this.
Yeah.
Is like, so you say like the house burned down, but all the pictures burned up, or the house burned up, but all the pictures burned down. No, yeah, house burned down, but all the pictures burned up. So it's kind of weird, you know, like because you can say like burned up, burned down, you
Yeah.
know. So it's
Yeah.
yeah. So it's kind of like the same thing, right? So sorry,
Yeah,
it just
exactly.
weird things pop in my head, man. I just like spitting them out, right?
Oh,
But
look, man, listen, you'll be both. You'll be both. You'll be both. I've been studying. So I have been studying the way my mind works because my mind moves. I don't have adult ADHD. I checked it out because I was like, do I? You know, I want to know.
yeah,
I don't. My doctor said I don't. She just said, her words were this. She said, Bishop, she said, you have performed your whole life at like 115% of these are her words, of a normal human's capacity. She said,
crazy.
so what's likely happening is that you're like 110%. She's like, and that 5% gap is the thing. Because my mind, I just goes.
Yeah,
And I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over here,
yeah.
I'm over here. All these different places, thinking about 18 things at the same time. I can't tell you what I said 4 minutes ago, but I can tell you exactly what I did, where I was, when I did it, how I did it, what I spoke to, who I was speaking to 4 years ago.
You know, I'm the same way, but like I do have ADHD, so like, but I call
Mm,
it my superpower. You know what I
it
mean?
is.
I got 4 screens in front of me right now, so I'll be doing like different things on here, different things here, doing this. I mean, you know, all and like it's crazy. Sometimes it's a little too much because I overload everything. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I got so many different projects on the go, and like, excuse me. So I'll tell you this, and I know this is probably going to be a little controversial because it's a little messed up, but it's just the power of AI is just insane.
Yeah.
So I'm making now music with AI,
Yeah. I've heard
and
about that. Yeah.
yeah, and it sounds amazing. I'm coming out with an album about my life story kind of thing, you know, and like kind of and raw minds and where it is, and then I'm making like music for men's mental health, you know, because they're like,
Man.
yeah, man, it's uplifting stuff, right? Like, so it's
Yeah.
and it's been wild, but at the same time it's scary. Like I'm telling you, man, like it's a full production studio quality, man. Like I'll send you a couple songs after that. I mean, you'll be
Yeah,
blown
man, I'd
away,
love to
man.
hear it. Yeah,
Oh,
because
you'll
you
be
know that's part of my
blown
background
away.
too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I said, yeah, I was a little
Yeah.
worried because I know like it takes away, but I mean like I me, you know, music you express, right? That's the
Yeah.
beautiful about like when I used to play the drums. I mean, I used to be in a cover band for Marilyn Manson, so it's a little bit of different kind of music. So you can imagine why my mom was mad all the time, right? We're
Yeah,
playing beautiful
yeah,
people, boom, 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 right? You know
yeah,
what I mean? So she wasn't happy about that stuff, right? But like
yeah.
I've always like it's a way to express your feelings. And you see all these artists, you know, and they express their feelings and stuff. Like I wrote a beautiful song for my mom, you know, and then one for my
Man.
daughter, and even one for my best friend and my other best friend that passed away. You know what I mean? Like it's all in my life story and my album there. But it's just
Yeah,
it blows me away, and I at the same time I feel bad because it's gonna put like artists, a lot of artists out. Like it will not. I mean, they'll still make music. Don't get me wrong,
right.
but I mean, it's scary, man. The AI
Yeah.
stuff is scary, bro. You know, but I'll definitely send you some stuff, and
Please
it's what
do.
like I got saxophone solos in the front of some of them. I got trumpet solos. I got choirs. Like it's crazy, dude. Like I'll send you some
Man.
stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got to because you know I've only seen. So I'll be honest. I'm sort of I don't necessarily say late. Like I am just getting into, and this is probably in the AI world. I don't know. I don't know. This is probably like elementary, but I am just getting into like the power of like chat GPT and all that. And I
Oh,
know that's
buddy.
probably pretty elementary but for a while I was like, I don't know what that is. I don't know. I don't know. And then I started using it. I said, oh my God. I said, this is amazing. This is amazing. And then just to kind of get into it. So I'm still kind of just at my surface level of it. But I mean, what I've seen happen so far, I mean, man, it has been amazing. And
Oh,
so I saw that on a X post or something I saw. Somebody sent me the other day about that, saying that pretty much the same thing, like with the
yeah.
AI, music, and all of that. But to me, like I look at it this way: you're always going to need a person and people to do something. And so I think it's ways to become more efficient and allow us
Hmm.
to have more of the human experience. Because I don't know
Yeah.
about you, but like we were talking about a little bit. Like I've had one setting my whole life on.
Yeah. Me too.
That's been the
Go.
setting.
Yeah.
Like
Go.
just boop, boop, go. Like I don't know. So like when people are like, oh man, you step like, do that. Like, what are you talking about? Like I have one setting. And so I'm learning to finally enjoy life and enjoy, you know, the thing. My mother asked me one day, she said, all these things you build, all these things you've done. She said, when are you going to enjoy it? I said, well, I do enjoy it. What are you talking about? I said, I go here, I go there, I go there, I go there. And and I think there was a deeper meaning for me which was even while I'm enjoying it, I'm mentally plotting the next
Yeah.
thing, think of the next thing, running through the next thing, planning the next thing, like, so to say, plotting, like getting ready for the next thing. And just to have the human experience, like be in this moment and enjoy this moment and
Yeah.
not be saying, okay, well, what's coming up with this? What's coming up with this? What you got to do? Like just be present in the moment. Yeah.
See, and that's hard for me too, man. Like it really is, even to this day. I'm 41 years old, right? So like it's really hard.
Yeah.
And like to stop and smell the flowers, because my whole life is fight or flight, right? It's always been pretty much fight, from like all the drama. So it's just been go,
Yes.
go, go. And then like with my ADHD, I get obsessed over things. So then I like work hard.
Yeah.
Even, and like I got 60 something songs, man. I made that in like 4 days, dude. You know what I
Whoa.
mean? Like
So
all
you
my
like
lyrics,
lock in and
everything.
go in.
Yeah. Oh, I full
Yeah.
throttle. Doesn't matter like what it is, like, and I mean, I'm telling you, and like, I'm not trying to promote ChatGPT. I mean, but I use it all day, every day, all the time. It's on all my stuff. I got ChatGPT, I got Gronk, and I got Gemini all on my computer. I use all three because different ones are for different things. You know what I mean? Some are better at different things and stuff like that.
Okay, you got to tell me. So which one? So what would you say is better at what? You got to tell me. Like, hit me to the game.
ChatGPT, I think is better overall, but Grok is like finds real time stuff. ChatGPT can't find like real time stuff.
Right.
So I'll ask Grok to find like real time comments. It'll tell me my real time comments, all that stuff. It's different things for different things. Like ChatGPT, I pay for the extra version, so then I can make the folders, and then I program that folder what I want my ChatGPT to be. So it'll be like SEO, like search operation engine operational. So it finds the words when you type in, and it'll be like for my YouTube or whatever, right? So I program each project. Like if you need help, man, I offline, man, I can help you.
Yeah, that's good because I told you, like I'm at the very beginning stages of that, but yeah, once I saw, like, I had to write an email for me, and when that thing spit that email out in 10 seconds, I said I'm in love. Like this is amazing. I was like, yeah, and then putting the notes in, like, yeah, it's been a really helpful tool. But I love what you mentioned about that.
Well,
but yeah,
I think even for my work, like I was a project manager for my work, and like, I mean, you can video and it'll tell you what's in front of it and everything, and I use it to make all my emails. And because I was doing like finishing, I was the finishing end of the project, not project manager, sorry, superintendent, finishing superintendent. I was on the ass end, so people need to finish things. I would get ChatGPT to write me up this. As soon as these guys get the email, they're like, yes sir, right away, we'll get it done right away. You know what I mean? It was awesome. But he's like, all these people, like, I never told anybody, right, in the workplace. They're all looking at me like wow, you really know how to like type and make, and like, you're really good with your words, man. Like, fuck you, thank you. You can't tell them your secret. You know what I mean?
Right. No, listen, man. But again, I think, again, it's efficiency, productivity, and that type of deal. And like I said, I think, and my doctor said I did. I still study, ADHD, all of that, because I see so many similarities in how my mind works. Doctors practice medicine. That is what that is. All I know is that when I look at a lot of it, like, that's exactly how I think. That's exactly how I think. That's exactly how I move. And I like what you said. It's a superpower. And I think many guys, in particular, as you know, they're looking at the stats, tend to lean in that direction. But I think it's the same thing. It's a superpower that if you learn how to, just like Superman, like if you learn how to focus them lasers out your eyes, oh man, you a bad dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you learn how to focus that power, oh man, that makes you literally like a superhuman.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I'm a construction guy. I've never built a website before. I don't know how to do that shit. And I just learned it. You know what I mean? I got ChatGPT to help me. I learned it all. You know what I mean? Like, and that's we have the tools to learn these things, and level up, and like you said, like, I do the same thing. I research on people, like heroes, people that do great things, leaders, all this stuff, you know what I mean? Because if they're in that position, they did something right, or they paid someone off, or took someone out. There's three options, you know what I mean? Yeah, there's three options in that. You know what I mean? But it's always about learning, it's always about learning. Like, people are going to get so mad at me about this, but so I got in trouble in high school, and they got me to do a paper paper on a leader, and I did Hitler, and not as in like that, but what this man did. I'm against of what he you know what I mean? But you take this man's power that he controlled, and the level of what he did, you know what I mean? You no matter what he did was horrible. I don't condemn. I'm against all that shit. I have family members that have been through the war and stuff like that, right? Don't get me wrong. But it's the power that this one individual did.
Right.
I got in shit for doing that, but I mean, but I was looking at it at a different aspect. You know what I mean?
You want to know something so interesting? So again, liking biographies, that is actually one of the most fascinating biographies for me to study and to watch. Because to your point, again, to be crystal clear, as you said, and just want to double down on that, evil man, awful man. But I asked myself, how did one man get millions of people to jump on board? Like, what did he do? Because one, history repeats itself. So if you ever want to be prophetic, just study patterns, because patterns are going to repeat. But then two, I said, what did he do? And it was really interesting because the principles relate to every movement. Like every movement of anything. I don't care if it's church or if it's business or whatever. The principle's the same. One of the things they said that he did is he galvanized younger people. And he did that. Number two, and I'm sure you saw this in your research. Number two is that he found the areas of pain that nobody else was speaking to. Like just simple principles that, of course, he weaponized and did what he did. But I think there's so many things to learn. Like people say, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do that. Like, at the end of the day, there's so many things that could be learned from that and learned from how one man like took on the world. And again, evil, awful, but you have to ask yourself the question, how in the heck did he even get there? How did he get there? It's a whole fascinating thing. I actually am extremely fascinated, and it's I can relate to you in that way because I literally have studied his life and what he did multiple times, and it's one that I will quickly go to because I'm always fascinated as to how one man could do that. And just learning lessons from how you interact with people, how to influence people in a good way, in a positive way. So yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it's like I'm crazy a little bit too. Like when I go to sleep, I listen to YouTube videos and stuff and fall asleep to like learning, filling.
But
mind.
I think that's smart. That's getting into your subconscious. It's your spirit. I love that.
Definitely. And a lot of stuff that's been popping up is like CIA tactics that people use and stuff, and it's pretty crazy how like manipulating, when like, and it's telling you how these people try to manipulate you. I forget but it's to show you to watch out for these people trying to do these things, and it's wild, like the tactics that like some people go to the extent to be able to get whatever they want out of you, and it's very interesting, man. Very interesting.
Wow. Yeah, that definitely is. I know that definitely is.
I know it's getting a little bit late here. We've been doing this for a little bit, even prior to that. But I do want you to plug again one more time all your stuff at the end there.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, most definitely. Again, one, thank you for having me. Listen, I've enjoyed our conversation before and right now. But everybody connect Bishop Foreman. Tons of resources that are going to add value to your life. Just BISHOPFOREMAN.com. On all socials at Bishop Foreman. And if you're watching, listening, would love to know, just shoot me a DM. Let me know that you got some value out of what we talked about. I think, if there's any takeaway for me is you turn your pain into purpose. And life's not happening to you. Life is happening for you. And that mental resilience, like that's it. The number of setbacks I've encountered are innumerable, just like the number of bounce backs that I've encountered. They're innumerable too. You just can't keep a good man down. And every man watching, I don't care what you've been through. I don't care what life is right now. There's a good man in you, and you can't keep a good man down. And what's ahead, I really honestly believe is better than what's been. But Bishop Foreman, there's books, there's resources, podcasts, music, messages, so much more. And I think one of the things that men will appreciate too is that even when I present and I'm teaching or preaching or speaking, I'm always presenting from the perspective that gives you the freedom to experience your humanity and still be the hero. Like experience your weak places and still be strong. Because
Yeah.
to me, that's important because no man, often we don't like vulnerability and some of those things. And I've discovered like, man, that's my strength. My strength is that I'm
Mhm.
not afraid to show you my scars. My strength is that I'm not afraid to tell you, yeah, that hurt. That hurt, but I got up though. Yeah, I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting that, but I got up though. And so I just say to you, keep doing what you're doing because it's amazing. And, you know, his only time will tell. Only eternity will tell the lives that you impact because you never know who's watching a show, who never
Mhm.
comments, who never speaks, who never sends you anything, who never subscribes. But there's one nugget you gave them that to what you
Mhm.
said, your friend said earlier, that 1 degree. That 1 degree was the thing that got them over. Like, you just never know what that difference makes. So thank you for doing what you're doing. Keep
Thank
keep
you,
going.
man. Appreciate that. I'm gonna say one last thing. So that we've said this on multiple episodes before. Anthony's the one. He came in as a co-host for a while.
Yeah.
A great guy. He actually came. He left to be a fireman. So good for him.
Oh wow.
Yeah, really good. But he said when he was on episode 13, he came on. He was a guest and became a co-host after.
Yeah.
And the first thing he said is like, "You guys are like the boy and the starfish." I don't know if have you ever heard of the boy and the starfish?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah. And he says that's pretty much what we're doing, you know. And the old man says, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm saving the starfish. There's
Mhm.
tons on the beach. You pick up the starfish." Boy
Yep.
throws another one in. He's like, "Well, you can't save them all." And he picks up another.
Yeah.
He's like, "I saved that one,"
But that
you know.
one.
And that's what we're doing here. You know what I mean? Just slowly
Yeah.
throwing starfish back in the ocean.
Yeah. Back in the ocean. Yeah. Get up,
Yeah.
starfish. Get up, starfish.
Yeah, man. So I got one last question to ask
Yes,
you.
sir.
I ask all my guests. What's one thing that you would like to tell the world?
Wow. You know, it's something I said earlier. You still have a pulse. God still has a plan for your life. This life is too complicated and too complex to just be some coincidental random happening. I honestly, genuinely believe that you still got a pulse. God still got a plan for your life. And he's not mad at you. He's not trying to beat you up or beat you down. I think for me, I don't know how I would navigate through life without having that as the substratum of the reality of life for me is that, man, there's a reason I'm here. And it's bigger than just paying bills, having babies, and dying.
Hell yeah,
There's a
man.
reason you're here, and it's bigger than that. And even back to the starfish, like everybody's assignment doesn't look the same. What you do doesn't match what I do, doesn't match what this guy does, doesn't match what this guy does. But all of those things are important. And so you still got a pulse. Life's not over for you. Your best days aren't behind you. Like there's greater victories ahead. And that's the one thing I would say. You still got a pulse. God still got a plan. It's not over.
I love it, man. I think that's
Yes, sir.
perfect for the ending of this. This is perfect. I
Yeah.
just want to say thank you, man. I really appreciate you and your team reaching out and coming on. It's been a pleasure, you know, and I thank you for what you're doing for the community
Thank you.
and everything. Which day is it, by the way? Is Bishop's Day? Which day is that?
It's October 16th. Yeah, they gave me my own day in Denver. And
Yeah, we never talked about that. I
Denver,
wanted to say
Colorado.
that.
Yeah, it's October 16th. My birthday's actually October 18th, but they did October 16th because that was the day we did this particular service, and so they made it the 16th. So yeah, October 16th is coming up in oh my god,
Yeah,
a month and a half.
man. Yeah,
Man, yeah.
I'm asking because I'm gonna put that in my calendar, man. So I know for sure that's your day,
Yeah, I
brother.
appreciate that. I
I got
appreciate
you,
that,
man.
man.
We'll show some
Yes,
love
sir.
back at you.
I
Anyways, I just want to say
appreciate that.
thank you again, man, for coming on. You know, we really appreciate it, and thank you again for doing all the great work that you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Well, everybody, thank you, and we'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. Bye. Awesome, man. That was really good, brother. Thank you so much.